Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. What we have today is a 2014 Mercedes AMG CLA45 that needs an oil change. But before we get to it, I thought I'll show you around the car. On the front, we've got a really nice grille with some AMG badging. We've got some nice headlights, some bulges in the bonnet. Coming to the side, there are beautiful black 19-inch rims and some massive brake calipers hiding behind the rims with nice sports rotors. We've got tinted windows, we've got a huge sunroof, we've got red calipers on the back, obviously a lot smaller, and then around the back some nice badging, a nice rear diffuser with twin exhaust pipes. One thing about these pipes is they're not real. The actual pipe is just a round pipe that sits behind the bumper. The other side is obviously the same. And let's have a look inside. So on the driver's door we find the controls for the seat with the memory feature. It's a typical Merc thing. We've got a very nice and thick AMG steering wheel. Some really nice bucket seats that hold you in place really nicely but are surprisingly comfortable. And on the center console we have a nice screen, very stylish air vents, huge sunroof, and we also have red seat belts with red stitching all over the place. We've got a LED on the dash and the door cards, a very stylish AMG gear knob, and some nice sports pedals. So all in all, it's a very sporty, stylish interior. Today's service is not going to be a complicated one. As you can see, we have the oil extractor which we'll be using, so I won't be getting under the car to drain the oil. There is the oil filter, there is a ratchet with some extensions and a 27 mil socket. This is the 2-liter turbo AMG engine, produces about 265 kilowatts of power, which is pretty good, pretty quick. The turbo is hiding under here, and we can see the massive pipe that goes to it. The engine cover is missing the Merc logo for some reason. It is carbon fiber, and we see that this engine was handcrafted by Thomas Manning or something like that. What we'll be doing today for the oil service, we'll be using obviously the dipstick and the oil filter that's hidden in the back there. So the oil extractor is ready. We're gonna take this end and put it down in the dipstick hole and suck all the oil out. So the dipstick comes out. Give it a wipe. Put it away. This part goes in, like so. And then we can create some pressure here, and it should start sucking the oil out. And here it is. So while that is happening, we can take the filter out. The 27 mil socket goes into the filter. It's got a little joint in it and an extension. Ratchet goes on top, and we start undoing the filter housing. Very tight. All right, so now it's loose. Take this away. Get a rag ready and undo it by hand. And here it is. So now that the filter is out, you've got a new Hengst filter that we'll be using. In this new filter, looks like that, as you can see. It's got little prongs that will go into the housing, and it's got a little rubber gasket that we need to replace. So this one comes off. Put that in the box. I've got a little pick to take off the old rubber gasket, like so. Now, with the new one, we want to put some oil on it before we actually put it on the car, before we put it on the oil filter housing. The reason for that is that when this sits on the housing and we put it back on the car, if it's not lubricated, it can warp, and then we won't have the proper seal, we'll get an oil leak. So just a bit of oil, that's maybe too much, but just make sure it's lubricated nicely, goes back into the groove, and don't be scared to stretch it a bit if you need to. And the filter, the prongs need to click, and we are good to go back to the car. So the filter and the housing are back together with the rubber seal. So now it goes back on here, all the way in. Tighten it by hand, make sure it goes smoothly. So by hand as much as I can. Get my extension. Now this is supposed to be tightened to 25 Newton meters. So I've got my torque wrench set to 25, and let's start tightening. So the oil that we're going to be using is Castrol Edge 040. It's recommended by Castrol for this specific engine. So I've got the funnel in there, make sure it's clean on the inside. Takes 5.5 liters. This is a 5 liter, so we're gonna put this whole thing in and then check and add more. Okay, so a few minutes have passed. The oil should have gone down to the sump, so we pull the dipstick to check. So pull, give it a wipe, back in, and pull again. So this should give us the reading. Alright, so we can see that it's full, even though we put 5 liters in it. So what we'll do now is put everything back together, start the car, and get it to pull all the oil in. So the last step is to reset the oil computer so it knows that we've done the service. So get the car, get the dash to display the kilometers, hold down the phone button and then press OK. Hold that for 5 seconds. We are in the hidden menu. We go to Assist Plus. OK. We go to Full Service. OK. Service 1. No, service. Confirm full service. We go OK. Oil grade 229.3. OK. Oil grade service carried out. Yes. Confirm. OK. And that's it. Now that the oil service is done, it's only fair to take this bad boy for a drive. So there are 3 driving settings in this car. There is Comfort, which is what we're using now. Sport, which makes the exhaust a tiny bit louder, holds gears a bit longer, and does pops and crackles when you shift. And the third mode is the manual mode, where we can use the pedal shifters to change gears. And the car is kind of in sports mode already, so I'll stay in this mode and take you for a quick drive and see how the car behaves. So the exhaust sounds very good in sports mode or in manual mode, with all the crackles and pops that happen. It's very responsive, being a dual clutch, which is awesome. Sometimes in normal driving, in normal traffic, the gearbox is not the best on takeoffs and all that, but that's to be expected really. But on the limit, it's amazing. The car also have a 4-wheel drive system, and sports mode, which stiffens up the suspension and makes a big difference with handling. The chassis itself is very stiff, and some of you may have noticed at the beginning of the video, when I drive the car into the driveway, it actually lifts one of the rear wheels. So that will tell you how stiff this little thing is. In sports mode, as I said, the shockeys get stiffened, the whole suspension is stiffened, and the car feels amazing for cornering. Because of these things, the car is not the most comfortable car in the world. I'm probably a bit too big for these seats, but that's to be expected really from a sports car, from an AMG. It pulls really well. All 265 kilowatts are working spot on. Very fun car to drive, very fun to drive in the manual mode. The 4-wheel drive system is front biased, so most of the power will go to the front. When fronts lose grip, then it will do a 50-50 torque split, which is fine. You know, it's easier to drive, saves a bit of fuel. Yeah, I mean, to conclude, it's a really nice car. It's got some really nice features, and it's really fast, very fun car to drive. Thank you for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. If you could subscribe and click the notification button, that would be really appreciated. Thank you for watching.